Okay, so we have just a few minutes, so I have a couple of additional questions. So there's confusion about the additional testing sites that will be able to test asymptomatic individuals. So you mentioned, I believe, last week that they may or may not require a physician order. So with this in mind, will it give community members a sense of false security?
Yeah, it's a great question because and it frustrates me a bit because there's a big difference between a specimen collection site and a testing site. So there are approximately 40 specimen collection sites throughout Tulare County. In fact, it was just announced the other day that the Tulare Ag Center, the state, has now set up its third state-sponsored specimen collection site. So there's one in Dinuba and one at Porterville at the Memorial Building, so there will now be one at the Ag Center. It is by appointment, so you have to call and get an appointment, and you go there, and you don't need a physician's order, but they will collect a specimen from you. They will then send it to a commercial lab. I think the commercial lab might be OptumServe or Quest, but then you get in line. Mm-hmm. And we know that the public's been very frustrated with 2 weeks, 17 days, although before you get results back, but I've heard that we've seen some vast improvement in that, and now 48 to 72 hours. Kaweah Delta and the county, and to some extent Sierra View Hospital, are the only 3 actual testing sites in Tulare County. So, but I understand that we've kind of limited the testing that we're doing to just symptomatic patients and generally those that have a physician order. But I think I talked about maybe this last week that Kaweah Delta, through Randy Coca's efforts, has now secured the Quidel Sophia 2 platform. It's an antigen-based instant result test. It's nasal, so it's not the saliva one, but it's just a wipe in the nose, not the deep pharyngeal one. You get results back in 15 minutes. We now have 20 analyzers. We have 20,000 testing kits. We have another 50,000 on order. And our intention is to deploy them out throughout the county to our urgent care centers, Visalia Medical Clinic, our rural health clinics, that patients simply need to call, make an appointment. You don't need anybody symptomatic or asymptomatic can now go to these sites. We want to significantly increase testing because that is one way you get the positivity rate down, is you do a lot more testing. Unfortunately, when you do a lot more testing, you might detect a lot more positive. So that's the numerator. So that's the only risk. The more testing we do, we might start picking up. I mean, when you're asymptomatic, right, it means you have the virus. You're just not exhibiting symptoms. That's what asymptomatic means. We want to test people that don't have the virus because then you get the credit in the denominator, but it's 0 in the numerator. So, but we are going to greatly expand. We're working on the rollout program there. So we are going to start doing a lot more testing of asymptomatic and people that don't have the virus, working with the county to do that. Again, I think with the state, you can go out there and have a specimen collected. I don't think you have to be symptomatic, but again, you're going to have to wait for the test results.
Right. So when do you think our rollout's going to happen on the Quidel system?
It's probably a few weeks away. We're going through the training and the validation process.
And we've done C-trains, right? We have some C-trains coming out?
Yeah. In fact, we have deployed several analyzers out to Visalia Medical Clinic. They're already using them. They're already actually doing the tests as part of the validation process. So we've been deploying them. We actually, as Deb just mentioned, we acquired these air-conditioned, temperature-controlled C-trains, big cargo areas, and we placed them in our rural health clinics where we actually will do the specimen collection and the testing. You'll get your results back on site, so we'll be running them, pretty rapidly. So we hope to have that deployed here in the next few weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.